Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. This is the second episode of us, the live stream, and we're talking about huge development shifts that have been happening here in San Antonio because of a few reasons. The first and most important thing is because of foreclosures. And we're going to go into the different developments that have been happening around San Antonio for the last couple of years. Some of it is still happening, some of it got canceled, some of it got delayed. It actually will affect people that are living in San Antonio. And if you're definitely looking to move to San Antonio, you need to know this. So we're going to deep dive for an hour. We're giving a few seconds for people to jump on. This is going to be every week where I'm going to go live and just talk about the different issues of San Antonio. Let's talk about, of course, some good stuff and different good areas that are getting even better in terms of the resellability. And I want to hear from you if you are listening in, and if you're local in San Antonio, I want to know where you're listening in from. I have some articles pulled up. I have some good information that I want to talk to you about. I'm excited to dive into this second live stream of this year. This is going to be really cool. So let me know where you're jumping in from. I'd love to hear, and we're going to go right into it. So the first thing is the foreclosures. Isn't it crazy how rates were at 3% at one time and 2% even, and now we're at, actually luckily we're down to 6%, and that's a par rate. But what's happening nationally is there's been talks of 50-year mortgages. There's been talks of stopping these large corporations on Wall Street from buying single family homes. And we're hoping that that will change the dynamic here in San Antonio, because on the selling side, people and homeowners that are looking to sell their home are very much so just taken aback by all the inventory and the price drops that we're seeing here locally. And on the buying side, there's a lot to choose from. In certain areas, there's a lot of inventory and people are looking to, buy in certain areas, and they're just wondering, is it a good time? Is it a, terrible time? Should I wait, or should I make an offer? Or why aren't or make a lowball offer? And these are the things that are affecting our community, our area in San Antonio. And even myself, I was a police officer here, and just seeing the natural progressions of the market, in the past 8 years that I've been a realtor, it's been really interesting. And it's just been fortunate enough to kind of be in this market, with all of you. And so yeah, so I'm going to go into it. The first thing is foreclosures. That foreclosures are happening, and being that we're military USA, it's unfortunate that this is happening. I mean, it's, I guess, good for investors, but it's not as good for the homeowner. So, a real estate data solutions company that breaks down markets nationwide reported that Texas, in general, has seen a 36% increase in completed foreclosures, not necessarily pre foreclosure or as is cash offers. It's literally a foreclosure. In October 2024, statistics show that 249 completed foreclosures. This October, the number increased to 358. And there's been different areas of San Antonio's that have been more affected than others. And actually, I have a heat map here that was pulled up in the Bexar County foreclosures of where this is happening. I mean, we could see downtown. We can see, even even in Stone Oak, there was foreclosures. Up 281 in Bulverde, we've seen foreclosures, and a huge cluster in Southtown, or in the south side of San Antonio. That's probably the biggest amount, and also far west. So that looks like the area of Almo Ranch, and just south of it, between Alamo Ranch Parkway and Highway 90, there's another cluster of foreclosures. And I'm not surprised, because there's a lot of inventory in Alamo Ranch. There's a lot of inventory on the south side of San Antonio, but it's now changing to that. Being that the rates are coming down all the way up, even the northwest side of town, like by the Rim, 1604 and 10. Those areas are seeing foreclosures. And all this is now affecting, people that are trying to sell homes there. And also second guessing, should I buy a home that just has a larger cluster of foreclosures, because that obviously affects resale and it affects the businesses around it. So I have a comment that I'll bring up here, and it's is it a good time for the city to move in on more public housing? So public housing is, really something that has been on the city's agenda for a long time. And like the Travis building downtown was supposed to be, I think, 400 units in the heart of downtown to be more public housing. I know there's tens of thousands of families on the San Antonio Housing Authority list that are waiting for people to, sorry to put that, that are waiting for people to open up some more public housing for Saha. And let me pull up the heat map one more time. Uh, Here, there we go. And it's just becoming more common that we've seen last year with foreclosures. So where are the developments happening with the San Antonio? Let's see. Hold on. Before we talk about the developments, so the affordability is being affected, and it takes around Texas, oh, there it is. Around Texas, it's different price points and different affordability. But in San Antonio, this article is saying from realtor.com that it's actually more affordable. It says the average across the US is down and its peak from 12 years, reached in 2022. And let me see up here. It takes the typical San Antonio household an average of 1.3 years to save money needed to close and purchase, the shortest period amongst US metros. And those in Austin, it takes 8.2 years. And the Austin area obviously is a higher price point. And what they're saying is the San Antonio area just has a lower cost of living. So you have obviously more chances to save, which sometimes doesn't feel like that. Let me know if you agree. And yeah, so let me like kind of spitfire a lot of these bigger um, developments that are happening in San Antonio, because there was a lot of plans of changes. I think the biggest change that we've seen in the past year is Project Marvel. There was a lot of media around it. I know I did a ton of videos around Project Marvel. So if you don't know what Project Marvel is, it's basically around $4 billion of revitalization of downtown to bring the Spurs back to downtown. And it will transform a lot of Hemisphere Plaza, Alamo Plaza, and those areas and businesses around it, and the Alamo Dome, to now be able to house the Spurs. Just going back to the focus of the city, which is density, because with density you have, more accommodation to tourism. And then typically when people come with, tourism, they're going to want to stay. So these are some of the biggest real estate projects according to the San Antonio report. This is courtesy of them. So one is the Basila Frock opens in January, and this is a 20,000 square foot building on the corner of Zarzamora and Martin Street. If you don't know where Zarzamora and Martin, that is a very older part of town. Homes there are probably 100 to 100,000, $120,000, and it's been a slightly neglected part of town, and the inventory is pretty high. You go to the crime reports. That's usually a heated up map of reported crime, and yeah, so it's interesting to see that area right here, that is the Bracia Frock. I think it used to be a boxing gym. It used to be a whole bunch of things, but they're vitalizing it, which is great for that area. And I used to patrol that area, interestingly enough. And we'll see what happens. So here's Project Marvel, and I'm going to zoom into just what that looks like. So right there, you have the Alamo Dome, which is going to be completely redone. It's probably going to take another 10 years before it's actually finished. one of the comments on my TikTok was, by the time the Alamo Dome is done in 10 years, it's going to be outdated with its style and amenities, and that's kind of funny. And then you have the federal building that was right next to the Hemisphere Plaza, and that federal building is supposed to be a concert hall. And what they're gonna build is restaurants around it, and the huge thing is walkability. The city, it seems like it's been fighting transit and just the accommodation of, like, trains and just public transportation that, we really want more walkability, and imagine going to a Spurs game and being able to go to a restaurant, go to a bar, go to different event centers if you're in a conference here. That's the goal of Project Marvel. And it says right here, the San Antonio Spurs secured $331 million in funding for the proposed downtown arena from Bear County when voters approved the increase in the county's vote this past November. And it's $1.3 billion would be funded by another 489 million from the city of San Antonio and 500 million from the Spurs. And it's going to be incredible to see what it looks like after it's all done. The San Antonio Airport was actually just there. San Antonio Airport's going to have a whole different terminal, which I don't even know how they're going to expand that because it doesn't really look like it could be expanded, but it is, which is nice because there's really just two small terminals, and they're actually pretty efficient for what they do out of the San Antonio Airport. And let me know if you have traveled to San Antonio Airport. I know I've seen an increase in the parking garage, so I don't know. I hope they build another parking garage, but let me know if you have more information on it. I know people want to know. Alamo Plaza is a complete mess. Actually, haven't been there in a while, but from that picture, which looks like it's pretty recent, it is a mess. But I do know that just from the renders of what Alamo Plaza is going to look like, it's going to be really, really nice. Those like shops and random convenience stores that were on Alamo Plaza were not the best. I mean, I feel like we can do so much more, but um, it is. So I'm so glad that it's becoming now into this really nice development. So South Alamo Street. So this is for those of you that don't know, this building. I'm moving my mouse like you can see it on the screen, but you can't. But that building right there was actually the largest building that was ever moved by anybody. I think it was the Guinness Book of World Records back in the 80s. I forget the building, and I hope somebody in the comments tells me what building that is. But anyway, that's a hotel. And that street right now is a complete nightmare. But I'm hoping that when it's all done, it's going to look very beautiful, and it'll tie in the Alamo Plaza with Hemisphere to just continue its walkability. So excited to see that development come through. I don't know about you, but I feel like not a lot of people go that I know, at least even families I help on the real estate side. Um, they don't necessarily go to the Riverwalk. It's usually La Cantera. It's usually restaurants in Stone Oak. It's usually even like I-10, like West Avenue. There's a bunch of great restaurants. St. Mary's, the Pearl. That's usually where people that at least I know like to go out with their significant others or go out with friends. It's just not a lot of Riverwalk. I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I just don't see it. So movement on the long rumored Lone Star Brewery. So in December, the Gray Street Partners owners of the Lone Star Brewery property south of downtown told the St. Antonio Express News that the development company Southstar was going to uh, try to buy the land for a larger development. And if you have seen the development in Southtown, or I'm sorry, in the Lone Star District, it's basically an abandoned building, and they started to tear it down, then they stopped, and they started to tear it down. But with King William and Lavaca are those districts in those areas, they really need another anchor, just because the where to go and what to do, I feel like isn't enough, and what its potential could be, because you can have more housing, you can have more walkability if that Lone Star objective was there. And I know there are certain areas in Southtown that just aren't as desirable, even in price points. If I were to pull up Zillow and look at Southtown, it's just the price points aren't there versus King William or Lavaca. And I feel like there could be, but it just hasn't happened. New university hospitals are going to be set to open this new 5-story. This one is, I believe, in Selma, if I'm not mistaken. And there's also one in Vida. Um, and yeah, those are the major ones in the developments that are coming. And so with like if all of these developments happen and if everything goes aligned with the developments, then it's going to be a very different housing market in San Antonio. All the inbound migration, saw the writings in the wall with the higher interest rates, the development stopping. So if these developments were to happen, this is going to be a really good sign for San Antonio. And if you're a San Antonio homeowner, it's going to be a great sign for your resale. So for first-time home buyers, uh, check out which Texas metros are the most affordable. And of course, San Antonio is always the top. San Antonio also amongst the top and bottom, the new list of the state most affordable cities for first-time home buyers. According to this report, San Antonio is the most affordable metro area in Texas. It's ranked 12 nationally, which is so crazy to think about, with an affordability ratio of 3.2, meaning first-time homebuyers spent 3.2 times their household income to purchase a home. The report said the median home price paid by first-time homebuyers was $298,000. I don't know where the hell they're getting this information from, because a first-time home does not have to be $298,000. That's insane. You can get a first-time home for 175,000. You can get it for 250,000. There's no way you have to spend $298,000 first-time home. While the median first-time gross annual income was $92,000, which is also very strange. That seems very high for a first-time home buyer. So I have a question here on the comments. Adam, I think that's the name. I've been looking and searching in Lennar homes south of San Antonio, 20 miles south. Are these homes good, or are these neighborhoods good to live in? So, first, let me know in the comments if anybody else is rewatching this, if you live in the South Side, and then where you live, and then help Adam out. But I would say, Adam, get with me offline. I'm going to shoot my email into the comments, and then we can kind of give you a little more directed guidance. But I would say for this live stream, Lennar Homes is definitely a builder you have to watch. I'm not saying they're terrible, but I'm just saying they do need a lot of oversight. And when you have a mass production builder like Lennar, you have to be careful of what you buy, where you buy it, what neighborhood, and also the resellability of the home. If I give you any advice at all that's going to help you out in that, it's that you don't want to buy a Lennar home and then get stuck with it for 5 years and it doesn't sell, because there's going to be 7 other phases of build. And let's say one of those phases is the most desirable and makes yours be in a position of disadvantage. So you definitely don't want to do that. Now, the word good to live in is subjective, because I don't know what you like or what you want to be in close proximity to. But I would say historically, oh, sorry, Lennar is just it's something to watch out for. It's not the best. Um, you're welcome. You're welcome. Happy to help. Thank you, and let me know anybody else if you have any input or any questions. Um, So this is a shopping center, and this is a kind of a pop quiz. Does anybody know, without me having to say anything, where this this shopping strip is? It's very iconic. If you can name this shopping, I'll give you a $20 gift card to HEB. If you can name this on this live. Uh, so this is a pretty, you know, very obvious strip in Alamo Heights. Sorry, I already said it. But it's a Sunset Retail Center in Alamo Heights, and the first time in 20 years, it's going to have a new owner, and they're going to change it. So right now, says CVS Pharmacy, and there's a bunch of other stores in Alamo Heights that is there. But according to this article, it said that for more than 7 decades, Sunset Ridge has anchored an affluent trade area with daily demand patterns, enriched neighborhood identity, multi-generational partnerage, and a location to endure over time. So this is going to change. And it's situated in Elmo Heights, Terrell Hills, Almost Park, is since 51. And this is going to change because this new entity has now acquired it for people that shop there in Alamo Heights. Now, I don't think this is going to have a massive change in Alamo Heights and everything because there's really not much to build. There's no like new construction or anything out there. Usually it's, people are renovating houses or, just renovating the existing commercial real estate that's there. And that's sort of a future-proof area. The Alma Heights, Almost Park. I mean, those homes have been there a long, long time. When I sold a home there, I saw a gentleman walking and I I stopped him. I just asked, "Sir, like, do you mind, like, how long have you been in the neighborhood?" And he said, "I've been in Almost Park for 20 years." And I said, "Well, your opinion, what's the big differences between Almost Park and Almo Heights?" And he says that Almost Park has been just through less changes than Alamo Heights. And he said that his family has been there for a long time and they plan on staying there, versus Alamo Heights just has, I guess, more of a transformation because it does have more retail attached to it, just geographically. So let's see. The next development, and pardon me, I'm like sniffly for these lovely San Antonio allergies, if you're familiar. So this $4 million retail development planned for growth in the San Antonio corridor and the San Antonio's northwest side, which is not very far northwest. It's more in the medical center. It just landed a new multi-million-dollar development, according to MySA, and it's going to show online records show that it'd be a massive facility equipped with retail, restaurants, and medical services, soon to emerge in this part of the city. Residents near Oak Hills and Dream Hill Estates neighborhood can look forward to new businesses coming this year. And if you're familiar with that area, it's basically in Fredericksburg Road and I-10. That's where the medical center is. And this new retail strip is, really just going to add to what's already there. I feel like there's already a lot of restaurants and medical offices in the medical center, but it's going to be, just more amenities. And what's crazy about the medical center is those neighborhoods in particular, you can have a half-acre lot like in the medical center in the heart of it with beautiful rolling hills. And if you've been there and you've driven through those back neighborhoods, it's beautiful. I mean, you could really see downtown, the skyline, on a half acre, which is crazy, in the medical center. And then you buy something that's 20 minutes out thinking that you're going to get more space, but that's not the case. You can actually, in my opinion, find land in the medical center with some of those houses than you can if you go out in Bernie, and actually it's less expensive. So I've seen homes in the 650s in the medical center on a half acre with mature trees overlooking downtown, the downtown skyline, versus 650 what you can get in Bernie, which is not a half acre and not the same square footage. So it's an interesting dynamic. All right. So then the next development that I want to talk about is New Braunfels. So New Braunfels is seeing more expansion. Let me just take this a little bigger. Within the city, and it's the $1.5 million project is Food Box. So a project is coming into place in New Braunfels that feels like its own little world. The Food Box is a Texas-based convenience food chain that will break ground in a one new story, 7,000 square foot store in New Braunfels, Mayfair community next year. Construction slated to be April 1st, with the completed date of April 1st, 2027. And if you're familiar with that area, New Braunfels, the Mayfair community, I mean, they must expect a lot of housing that's gonna come to that area because in Mayfair, you have a new Costco that's coming, on that south end of New Braunfels. You have Trader Joe's, and then, coming and opening this month is Sprouts. So now you have this one, Food Box, which is, I'm assuming, like a convenience store, um, to also that area. So that's major developments that are coming to New Braunfels on that south end, and then obviously the north end. Food Box is more south, and then Mayfair is more north. New Braunfels, uh, correction there. But all those developments are just like massive. So if you're in those communities, get ready for more stores, and of course, what comes with more stores and more development is more traffic. And they don't have plans of building new community. I'm sorry, new schools to accommodate the higher amount of population. And I feel like New Braunfels is already just massively growing in its, infrastructure, and also for just the communities that have been built. So that is for New Braunfels. And then San Antonio is seeing a new development in San Pedro, which is the San Pedro Springs. And let's see, let's just bring this up. When let's see, they Villarreal and Reed decided to build a 16 apartment unit, turn 1920s golf oil station turned into a small restaurant, and that's going to be by Ashby Place. That's by the San Antonio College. So that's new housing development there. And now, this one to the south side. So I know one of the comments were about the south side. So the Villaret Commons is a new gated residential community coming to the south side. And I actually know the developer. He's actually in my office. So this community in particular is interesting because it can be a gated community. And I know the south side has Vita San Antonio. It has all of the, big box builders that are building there. But this one's going to be interesting because it's cited for at least 21 houses, I believe. Let me just double check. Oh, no, sorry. It's going to be 80 units total, including 19 duplex lots, 42 single family homes, all designed for a comfortable family for living. Residents will enjoy on-site amenities, including dog park, playground, barbecue area, uh, welcoming environmental for families, students, and professionals. And a lot of the South Side are just these massive communities, but this is going to be a good one because this is not as big, but it's going to have just a little more amenities to that side of the South Side. And in general, the South Side is very underserved. I mean, the South Side, they're just pumping in a lot of housing, but for amenities is really like if you're developing in the South Side, housing, you're good. I don't think the South Side needs any more housing after these developments finish, but amenities and just attractions for people to go and bring their families and friends. I think that's what's going to be lacking in the South Side, and that's going to be an opportunity. So that is the biggest developments that I'm seeing. And here is another heat map of where the developments are. Let me pull this up here. Okay. So the let me it's just so obviously the concentration is really downtown San Antonio. That's going to be Project Marvel. It's going to be the Pearl. It's going to be Broadway. Those areas are the biggest projects that are coming. And then we have one on the southeast side, which there's, I mean, a lot of housing developments on the southeast side, and there's a good amount of inventory, but that's going to be something different here. That's going to be the I can't even say that word. Arbitrarium. How do you say that, Stephen? Arboretum. Thank you. And then this is going to be the 16th Air Force headquarters by Lackland. And then on the very south side is going to be Palo Alto Hospital. Then there's going to be JBD Manufacturing Plant, which is relatively close to Toyota. That's around there. Then if we go way up in Northwest Helotes, the Gabriel is going to be a multifamily development, and it's interesting to see. You have the northwest side here, if you can see that in this tiny screen. You got the northwest side here. You got straight north here, um, and northeast, and there's really not a lot of developments. So it's not a lot of development neighborhoods. So um, if you don't want to deal with the expansion and the potential risk that could happen with expanding areas and developments, the northeast side is literally a clean slate. I mean, there's small developments, but nothing that has made the news. And then you have this one, which is the airport expansion. And if I click on this, it's nothing but the projected growth of Project Marvel and everything else. Housing downtown is also going to be pretty interesting because I know there's some areas of a little bit of an overinflation because people already know Project Marvel and they're like, oh, well, I was going to list, my house for 400,000, but I'll list it for 430, and it's like, hey, man, Project Marvel's not here yet. And so we just don't know if the values are going to sustain, if they're going to decrease a little because now everybody's going to want to put their house on the market, or if it's going to be a good buy and all the development does come. Um, so that'll be interesting to see. And then the Tower Life building that we did talk about earlier. So those are all the developments. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. I'm going to, always answer the comments after the live stream. Um, you know, Even though foreclosures have seen an uptick and the developments are happening, there have been a little bit of a slowdown. I do see still a lot of positivity in the market. People are spending money in San Antonio. They're moving to San Antonio, and this is a market that we are, used to in the past 2 years. But I would say the next 2 years is, I think, going to be very, very different with, the force of the federal government doing the interest rates and also the state funding that's happening. And also being closer to these damn highway expansions that have on the 21 1604 10 1604 Northwest Military 1604. Yeah, it's just been a lot of highway expansion, and once that's done, commute times, oh my goodness, are finally going to be better. So thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any more questions, and talk to you soon. See you next week.